A very pleasant Sunday morning to all the esteemed members and guests present today. On behalf of IMA Solapur branch, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome everyone for late Dr. B.V.Mulay Oration, which is probably one of the most prestigious activities and events of IMA Solapur. I would request President of IMA Solapur to escort our guest speaker, Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar and Dr. Mrs. Meena Wankhedkar on stage. I would also call on stage Dr. Santosh Kulkarni, who is the Joint Secretary of IMA Maharashtra State, and our team, Dr. Sanjay Manthare, Secretary of IMA Solapur, and Dr. Monica Umbardand, Treasurer. I request Dr. Shah sir to welcome this August gathering.
Good morning, friends. It gives me immense pleasure for this very auspicious occasion of Indian Medical Association Solapur. This is one of the oration every IMA member of Solapur looks forward, because we always and always remember Dr. B.V.Mulay, who was one of the founder for IMA branch Solapur. Friends, just remember those days when it was so difficult as far as the practice is concerned, quite early in this particular century. But a lot of hard work, a lot of enthusiasm had put in to establish this particular branch. And I'm so happy that this oration got established with a lot of efforts by Mulay family. Dr. Rohini Deshpande is very much there to represent the Mulay family today here. And I'm so happy that we have a very esteemed guest today to deliver this auspicious oration, Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar, a very close friend, a very humble person, a very nice orator, and I would say a best human being what I met in this IMA platform. I also welcome Dr. Meena Wankhedkar as well. Yesterday, she could start one of the very important projects for the women's health cancer detection camp, which will be happening coming week, where we'll be covering all ASHA workers and ANMs under that particular aegis. I also welcome Joint Secretary of Indian Medical Association, Maharashtra State, Dr. Santosh Kulkarni, who has traveled all the way from Kuduvadi to attend this particular program. I also actually welcome Dr. Jyoti Chidgupkar, who is very much here, the past president of IMA Maharashtra State. I welcome all family. I could see Dr. Bharat Mulay has joined today for this particular oration. All my colleagues, I would say, Dr. Sanjay Manthare, Dr. Tanmangi Zog, Dr. Monica, who always put in a lot of efforts to organize various activities under aegis of IMA Solapur. I can also see Dr. Gurunath Vache, who will be taking over very soon as the president of IMA Solapur. And I'm very sure today's deliberation will be a best of its own kind, because very apt, the medical practice, kal, aaj aur kal. Because we have witnessed all those things, we see that change. In fact, we always feel that we need to keep on changing in our day-to-day practice as the science advances, as the technology advances. And I'm very sure Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar is going to enlighten us on these changes in the medical practice and what could be the future for the medical practice as well. So once again, as a president of IMA Solapur, I welcome you all for this very pleasant morning, and I request secretaries to conduct the further proceedings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. In our culture, we always begin any auspicious event with the lighting of the lamp. So I would request all the dignitaries to please step forward for the lamp lighting ceremony.
Shutru buddhi vinashaya शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
Before moving ahead with the oration, I would request Dr. Sanjay Manthare to briefly introduce the legend himself, Dr. B.V.Mulay sir.
Good morning. Dr. Balchandra Vaman Mulay, 1888 to 9th July 1977. It is said that a surgeon should have eagle's heart and lady's fingers. He is a son of jailer. He is born in Sholapur on 18th May 1888. He passed his MBBS from Bombay University in 1914. He stood first in physiology, pathology, gynecology. He has passed his MS in second batch of Bombay University. His teachers were Colonel Naidu and Dr. Nadgir. He started his private practice in Sholapur, as during those days, the British government would not have allowed Indian doctors to progress in surgical fields. So he started his practice in Solapur in the year 1916 as a medical officer to Solapur municipality, and subsequently as a medical officer to Nursing Girji Mills, Solapur. The municipal dispensary provided all the facilities to Dr. Mulay to carry out surgical work. The civil hospitals also took advantage of his skill by inviting him for major surgery. In 1930, the owner of Nursing Girji Mills, Raja Dhanraj Girji, offered him ₹1 lakh to construct a well-equipped hospital. In 1962, he purchased a ticket of Bombay Lottery with the idea that he'll donate that money to hospital, and luckily he got the prize of 4.5 lakh rupees in those days. He generously donated that amount for the construction of Dhanraj Girji Hospital. Dr. Mulay was a very hardworking and methodical person. He used to begin his day at 5 a.m. and was through 2 major operations before getting ready for his hospital rounds at 7 a.m. One more major case. After that rounds, then OPD between 10 to 12:30 p.m., followed by 2 to 3 surgical procedures before the lunch. The evening session used to 4 to 7 p.m. He noticed that getting well-trained staff was difficult, so he started a nursing college in his hospital. The nursing school is still running. Those are the days of chloroform anesthesia. He trained ward boys to give anesthesia. He was very fast surgeon and quick at taking decisions. Because time factor was very crucial in those days, IV fluids and blood transfusions were not available and antibiotics were unknown. And still his infection rate was almost negligible. He used to do lithotrite
and gastrojejunostomies in those days. He was invited even to Bombay to demonstrate his surgical skills. Hence, he developed a central steam boiler through which the steam would go to the operation theater, OPD, and the wards, where the sterilization of derms was done. This was his unique idea. He had also designed a mechanical lift, which is still in operation without any accidents. He designed his hospital furniture and got it made locally in Sholapur. Apart from his qualities as a surgeon, he started IMA Sholapur branch in 1935. In those days, he held an inter-district conference under the presidency of Honorable Dr. Gilder MD, the then Minister of Health, Bombay government. In 1950, he organized the annual conference of All India Medical Association in Solapur. He was the chairman of reception committee. Those were the days of rationing. Even a gathering more than 100 persons at a time was banned and required a special permission from the collector. He was granted the permission with a condition that local doctors will not take meals with guests. He strictly observed this practice and took only fruits with guests, and local doctors went home for their meals. During this conference, he purchased a crockery for dinner, which was subsequently sold to IMA Solapur members, and thus he reduced the expenses for the dinner. The next conference was held at Patna in 1952. He collected a lot of funds required for IMA head office Delhi. He used to attend all the IMA conferences. He was attached to so many social organizations, HD High School, Seva Sadan, RSS. He was instrumental in starting blood bank in Solapur. In short, Dr. Mulay was not only a great doctor, but also a great administrator and social worker. He passed away on 9th July, 1977. Thank you.
Before oration starts, I also welcome all those friends who have joined from Kashmir to Kanyakumari for this very prestigious oration. I'm really happy to receive all of you. Also, all those IMA members who have joined online to attend this particular oration.
I would now request Dr. Monica Umbardand to introduce our guest speaker for today, Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar sir, past National President of IMA Headquarters.
I'm really honored to introduce you, sir. Sir was born on the 21st of September, 1963. Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar, sir, is a perfect example of modern time polymath, a terminology which is coined to address person who has an expertise or knowledge spans varied subjects. He completed his schooling from Canosa's Convent, Dhure. Later on, he completed his MBBS and MS General Surgery from the renowned BG Medical College, Pune. Before getting admission to the BG College itself, Sir had decided that his area of work will be in his hometown. He had seen poverty and related health problems. So after becoming a general surgeon, he joined Sri Bhausa Hire Government Medical College. As an assistant professor in surgery, he was extremely popular amongst his medical students and the staff of the medical college, so much so that he was bestowed the Teacher of the Decade Award in 1999. Till date, he continues his passion for teaching as an honorary professor in surgery at the Government Medical College. Since 2003 onwards, he started taking other proactive initiatives in the working of Indian Medical Association. He has seen the organization at various state levels and national level programs like MSCon, Hospex, EveCon, Unmesh, UMedicCon, the Young Medical Convention, Women's IMA Leader Summit, and Shabdangan, which is a medical library festival, which was conceived and organized under his leadership. As a result of his relentless efforts towards making IMA stronger, Sir was chosen as an unopposed presidential candidate for the year 2017-18. Apart from his professional and organizational activities, he finds solace in nature. He has transformed a piece of barren land into a lush, green, colorful farm called as Ravi Srushti, which has become a destination for informal meetings and gatherings. Being a lover of adventure, tourism, and having completed a basic mountaineering course at Manali, he has successfully completed the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra in 2011. He has shared his experiences on different platforms about his experiences on the trip. He is also involved in many social activities apart from the medical practice. He is the founder coordinator of Mission Pink Health, which is an ongoing community health project for adolescent tribal girls, and he has started the Shet Shiva Davakhana at the farm itself for the poor farmers. He has various awards to his credit. To name a few, we have the Best IMA Local Branch, the State and National IMA President's Appreciation Awards, Best AMS Chapter, the R.K. Mehta Memorial Oration, Medical Education and Research Award, the A.P. Shukla National Award. He also runs Sitaram Hospital very successfully at Bhure, upgrading it with modern equipments and technology as and when required. He is an exemplary surgeon with the social commitment at the heart of his professional practice, and he has handled a number of complicated surgical cases with ease and saved so many lives. I'm humbled to introduce you, sir. Thank you.
I now invite Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar sir to please take the podium.
A very pleasant good morning to all of you. The very charismatic, soft-spoken, and my good friend, the president of IMA Solapur, Milind Bhai, the charming young secretary, Tanwangi, a very sincere another secretary, whom I should thank personally for today taking us to the revered Siddheshwar temple, Dr. Sanjay Manthale, the treasurer, Dr. Monica, the incoming president, Dr. Gurunath, the state leaders who have come specifically for this function, Jyoti Chitgupkar, Santosh Kulkarni, Santosh Khadtare, the entire Mulay family, and dear friends. It is indeed an honor today to standing here in front of all of you in this divine city of Solapur. Why I say divine? Because it is surrounded by such good temples and one really feels blessed. Right on one side Pandharpur, other side Tulzapur, Gangapur, Akkalkot Swami, and this Siddheshwar Maharaj itself. And last few years, I have been closely watching the activities of IMA Solapur, and it has grown leaps and bounds. And I really congratulate the entire team of IMA Solapur, all the past presidents who have contributed and the current team also. When Milind Bhai called me, ki sir, such and such oration, will you come and deliver? And then he explained in brief the luminaries who have delivered this oration in the past. So it was a bit tense moment that if I am to carry forward that legacy, will I stand up to that mark of my predecessors who have delivered this prestigious oration? And then we discussed what topic. Milind Bhai asked me, sir, on what topic you will give? I said, you give me the topic. He suggested 2-3 topics, and then by mutual agreement, we came to a new topic, medical practice, kal, aaj aur kal. Why I say it's something new, and why I thought that I can give some justice to it. Coming from a very remote Mofussil area, studying in the prestigious BJ Medical College, actively working in the UG Students Union, the PG Residents Union, then going back to my tribal district, working as a medical officer for 11 years, and thereafter joining the government medical college, and simultaneously running my small surgical clinic and helping out my best staff, Dr. Meena, who is a senior family physician, and then working in the medical organization from local level to state level to national and now to the international level, and closely watching the changing scenario of medical practice. We both, Milind Bhai and myself, both thought prudent that we will take up this topic. I bring greetings from the largest professional organization of modern medicine doctor in the world, that is our own Indian Medical Association. And being the treasurer of World Medical Association, which is an apex organization of all the medical associations of all the countries of the world. And really, it has been an honor when I read the biography of the esteemed Dr. Mulay sir. No doubt, with all his good qualities, the best quality that he was a great human being. And I always firmly believe, to be best in your profession, you have to be a best human being first. You may be an engineer, you may be an architect, you may be a rickshaw driver. What you need to have is good human values. And another striking point, which as an IMA activist, I really feel honored that Dr. Mulay sir, in those early days, saw the importance of organization and unity and Indian Medical Association, and hosted in 1950 the All India Medical Conference, what we call as our national conference now, in 1950. And that was this great visionary man. Salutes to him. We pay our homage to him and all our respects to him. Of course, once again, thanks to the entire IMA Solapur team. And apart from the IMA leaders, I would also like to thank Dr. Vijay Shivpuje, who was with me yesterday, Dr. Sachin Mumbre, the Dean of VN Medical College, my batchmate, Dr. Sanjeev Thakur, all the other esteemed colleagues who have really made me feel at home in Solapur. Friends, before we actually deal with the topic, let us understand in very brief what is the global health scenario and what is the Indian health scenario. This prologue will help you to understand how things have changed and in what perspective we should look at things. Everybody understands that we have made great leaps in the healthcare indices, where a gross index is of life expectancy. And today, in fact, India has a life expectancy around 70, which at independence in 1947 was hardly 42, 43. Everybody, all the countries of the world under the WHO have agreed to this universal health coverage and the social determinants of health. India is a major signatory to it, that by 2030, health for all is our aim. Health as a basic right now has been accepted worldwide. Affordable, accessible healthcare. So any healthcare has to be available. Then it has to be accessible. No point in just building a cancer hospital where access is not there. So availability, accessibility, affordable. People should be able to afford it. It should be accountable. It should be ethical. All these are basic components of healthcare which have not changed. If you see the Indian health scenario, around 80% service is given by the private health sector. A very unfortunate scenario, but this scenario does exist. The government can provide only health services to 20% of population. And out of this 80%, around 90% are doctor-owned small hospitals. This distinction I need to make you understand. These are officially called as own account enterprises, OAE. What we see on a day-to-day basis everywhere is OAE, that is doctor-owned hospitals, either a single doctor, either a couple doctor, or a family of doctors, or a group of doctors. The third important constituent is 72%, highest in the world, is out of own pocket expenses. People have to buy healthcare. No other country has this grim situation. Try to understand this. It is very important to understand these certain gross basic things about our healthcare sector in India. People have to pay from their own pocket and buy health services. That is not the situation worldwide. And why that is so? Because even though the expenditure, total expenditure on health is around 4 to 5%, this includes people paying from their own pocket. While the government spends hardly 1 to 1.5%, that also in this entire 72 years, only once it had reached up to 1.5. Today also it hovers between 1 to 1.2%. The government expenditure on health is abysmally low. A neighboring Sri Lanka, a neighboring Thailand, a neighboring Bangladesh spends around 4 to 5% of their GDP on health. I am not comparing with the United States of America, which spends 17% of its GDP, or the European countries who spend around 10 to 12% of their GDP on health. That is why their government health sector is a robust health sector. People don't have to buy health services. Expenditure on health ranges around 30 to 35% of each family's budget. Very important to understand this. 3.3% of Indian population is pushed below poverty line due to health expenditures. We never anticipate this because there is no provision made for this. We all must have, as independent practitioners, so many times we have seen that a patient comes to me, I advise him a surgery, they say, today we don't have money, they sell or they pawn their ornaments or sell some piece of land and try to give treatment to that particular patient or relative. One of the major causes of suicide in rural areas, because the family has becomes an indebted family. This is just a graphic showing the out of own pocket expenditure, and these are all government figures. National Sample Survey 2015, which the union government conducts. These are not my figures. If you'll see, today's topic is not medicine, past, present, and future. We are limiting ourselves to the medical practice, because that vibrant private 80% sector we are dealing with. Otherwise, to take an overview of the entire gamut of medicine as such, right from the dark ages to the medieval ages, then came the Renaissance, then the modern age, the golden age, whether we are going back to dark ages, that is not today's topic, though it is related to that. What we will try to understand today's topic with a thing which we all have relate with, because we have grown up with our culture, that there existed 4 yugas. The Sattva Yuga, the Treta Yuga, where Ramayana happened, the Dwapar Yuga, where Mahabharata happened, and the Kali Yuga today. And then one day Kali Yuga is going to be destroyed. Everybody understands this. We have all grown up with it. And if you see very broadly, before the advent of anesthesia, asepsis, antibiotics, that is the decade between 30s and 40s. Let us not talk about it. I say it is a golden age, Sattva Yuga, leave it. So right from 1930s to 1990, a watershed moment happened in 1990, which we will be discussing in detail. That was a good thing. Treta Yuga, Ramayana happened during it. All the best qualities, the epitome of best qualities in any human being was Prabhu Ramchandra, because he represents that Yuga. From 1990 to today, this moment, going maybe up to another 8 years down the line, we are in the Dwapar Yuga, going towards Kali Yuga. And after 2030, Kali Yuga is going to come. Dwapar Yuga jayega, Kali Yuga aayega. Baba Gurudev, everybody has seen this. As I was telling you, whatever transitions happen, the fundamental values in medical practice are permanent. The shift between this Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, where Mahabharata happened, and we know what kind of things happened in Mahabharata, all these are affecting these basic fundamental values. And this is not nothing new, to be ethical, to be a good human being. Long 600 years before Hippocratic oath, our ancient medicine also had the Charak Samhita. The code for physician always existed. In all ancient medicine, may it be Chinese medicine, Egyptian medicine, Middle Eastern medicine, because these were the four main systems of medicines existent. It was much later that the Greeks and the Latin Romans took over. Also, everybody understands this, that medicine is basically a combination of art and science. Because we know it is an imperfect science. That is why we always called it as a medical practice. This practice word is very important. Because we know we continuously have to learn, unlearn, so that it is called as medical practice. So previously, the journey from art to artistic science, and now maybe only pure science. From Sushruta operating to Da Vinci's surgical unit, the robotic surgical unit, where from a healing touch to no touch heal. This is the entire span of Kal, Aaj or Kal. If you'll see, from healing touch to touchable heal, to healing without touch. The surgeon is sitting in Mumbai and he is operating in Gorakhpur. The patient is in Gorakhpur. This entire journey, certain things have changed. From a family physician to a clinician, to doctors, or from healers to doctors, we have turned into technicians, medical technicians. This is or service provider. This is a very unfortunate journey, dear friends. We need to reverse it to once again go back to the golden age. Today, we are not treating patients who are having diseases. Then we started treating diseases. हर्निया की केस है, रवि वानखेड़कर को हर्निया हुआ है. There is a qualitative difference. Now, though we treat investigations. On a sonography, a gallstone is seen. And without going into the detailed history or examination, I advise him a lab poll.
Yeah,
That is what I mean, medical technicians.
age wise बोला है क्या?
So as I was coming to the various yugas, it was basically pure clinical based medicine.
एकदम गर्दी नहीं
The
पड़ती.
age-old family doctor or the Vaidyas doing Nadi Pariksha, thereafter even in the generation of Dr. Mulay, doctors used to listen to their patients. They used to observe him at whole. They used to understand the family doctor concept, that he was the doctor of the entire family, entire community. And that is why they were given the status of demigods. They were natural community leaders. If you see, around 20 years back, most of the doctors were heading various educational institutes, social institutes. Anything used to happen, they were natural community leaders. The respect was obviously very high. Of course, they had the advantage that so much regulations were not there, investment was not there, the commerce aspect was not added. This is where you need to understand today's generation, and why I said 1990s was the game changer moment. Consumer Protection Act was introduced and medical profession was included in it. That was one major event which happened. Information explosion happened, which is still going on. And we all know the good things, the bad things of it. Especially Google Mata, sab kuch aata hai, the patient comes prepared, everything. There was a blatant privatization of the entire medical education. Before 1990, hardly the private medical schools were very far and few. Maybe one in Solapur in the entire Maharashtra, one in Anand in Gujarat. So very far and few private medical schools existed. Multiple regulations came into play, which obviously increased the cost. Another paradigm shift happened was the vertical relation between a doctor and a patient. The patient is to never question the doctor. Doctor is to order, patient is to listen. This relationship from a vertical relation now is turning into a horizontal relation. The patient's rights came into play. The concept that patient is the equal partner in treating his health. These are the few main factors which changed from the so-called golden age to the silver age. The insurance-based model came into play. I will be dealing with all these points subsequently. Mixopathy started coming into play. Violence, corporatization of the entire healthcare delivery. And last but not least, technological advances, what we call as augmented intelligence. All these are game changers. What happened in 1930s, that yes, penicillin was discovered. People understood the concept of antibiotics. People understood the concept of infection. Anesthesia was discovered. That changed the medicine, practice of medicine. Similarly, in Indian scenario, 90s, around peri-90s was the period when all these things started coming into play. Consumer Protection Act, though it was passed in 1986, Under the infamous, we can say, the Shanta Kumari case, Supreme Court ordered that medical profession is to be included into Consumer Protection Act. As I said, it became a game changer. It changed the entire scenario of practice. From clinicians, we became service providers, like any other service. Patients became consumers. A paradigm shift. We went to a shell. We started practicing defensive medicine. I remember when we started practice, a young person of 2022 having a inguinal hernia, just do a hemogram, do a heuristics, sugar, and we used to take. Today we don't do that. In a way, it is a good thing. We get a ECG, we get a fitness, we do it, all sorts of investigations, then take him out of surgery. Because somewhere in back of the mind, I am into mode of defensive medicine. Many a times defensive medicine is good also. That is positive defensive medicine. But negative defensive medicine is what is hampering today's doctor-patient relationship. On one side, we are accused that we are over-investigating. But they don't see that we see cases where a patient came with headache and later on he was detected with a brain tumor and subsequently the patient sued and compensation of crores was to be given. So that was one main game changer. If you'll see hospital, as I mentioned, this is a divine city. It's like a temple. And the patient is our God. And hospital itself is no place to become sick. But government laws are making it sick. If you'll see our friendly neighborhood, doctorhood, nursing home, it is still providing 24/7 affordable, accessible, accountable, available healthcare. Anytime, it still has that family doctor concept. May it be a surgical hospital, may it be a obstetric hospital. My obstetrician friends in the audience will agree. Our President Milind Bhai will definitely agree that 3 generations he must have conducted deliveries, then the same patient comes for property insertion, then tubectomy, then hysterectomy, and by the time she comes for hysterectomy, she brings her daughter or daughter-in-law for delivery. That is ultimately the family physician concept. Family doctor is not limited to general practice. If I am a surgeon, I can become a family surgeon. If somebody is, if Supriya is ENT surgeon, she becomes a family ENT surgeon. She understands, yes, की काल होळी होती, याचं घर रंगपंचमीचा डीजे ऐकून याचं कान दुखायला लागलं. तुम्ही बाहेर गावी गेले होते का, तेलकट खाल्लं, घसा खराब झाला. असं नाही की घसा खराब झालाय, 10 इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन पहिले करून आणा. That is family doctor concept. And that is still existent in our friendly neighborhood nursing home owned by doctors. And why I said hospitals are becoming sick? Because of over-regulation. There are 73 minimum laws governing a medical practitioner. The laws are related to the institution itself, that is the building, which we are facing the maximum problem today. May it be fire, may it be the roads surrounding it, regarding the human resources, people working in it, regarding professional judgment, and regarding service delivery. So what is the exact scenario? There are too many laws. We feel that we are over-regulated. Paradox is the government and the general public feels we are under-regulated. Especially in this COVID period, you must have seen so many regulations came into play. Oh, they feel that hospitals are unregulated. Let us control them, control their bills, control how much oxygen they give, control why death has occurred. And when you compare this friendly neighborhood doctor-owned nursing home with a tertiary care private multi-speciality hospital, which I label them as faceless medical malls, because they are basically for-profit organizations. Their intention, written intention, in their deed, it is there to earn profit. So on one side, we have own account enterprise, that is doctor-owned hospitals. And now the advantage of for-profit organization. A great dichotomy, a great paradox is existence today, which is creating a lot of issues, friends. It is like your friendly neighborhood Kiran. Yes, we agree. There is a need for good tertiary care hospitals. I am totally not against it. Question is what priority government gives, what priority lawmakers gives. We all understand the primary health care, which covers 80% of diseases. Another 10 to 15% are secondary care diseases. While tertiary care is required for only 5 to 6% of the entire population or the disease burden. How many people require CABG? People require day-to-day diabetes treatment. They require cheap medicines. They require regular follow-up for diabetes. People need to go for tonsillectomy. People need to have good hospital-based deliveries. That should be the priority, not the entire resources devoted to tertiary healthcare. Entire regulatory framework to be made with a tertiary care hospital in mind, which is killing this affordable, accessible, friendly nursing homes and the family doctor concepts. It is like you go in a big mall, buy a kilogram of rice. If that rice is bad, you can't go back to that mall and fight against that mall owner. But your friendly neighborhood Kirana owner will take it back and give it. Even if you don't have money, he will give on credit that yes, 10 guests have come, please give some tea, sugar on credit. What we do in our friendly nursing homes, because we know that family does not have a money. In late night they have come, the patient has a fall, I need to suture him. I do it without taking any advance. But exactly what has happened, this corporate model is availed. Try to understand my statement, listen it very carefully. Most of the corporate model services are availed by all the lawmakers. May it be the MLAs, MPs, ministers, or the IAS, IPS officers and the rich people who are not only lawmakers but are also opinion makers. These lawmakers are availing the facilities even for their smallest ailment into this tertiary care hospital. So they get an obvious impression that the entire healthcare delivery system is like this corporate hospital, where patients are not admitted without advance payment, where lot of investigations are done, where dead bodies are not released without payment. So they get an opinion that yes, the entire doctor community is like this. While that is not the fact. That is why we are saying that don't go in for corporate culture. Don't think that that is the only thing. 80% is this small and medium-sized hospitals. But unfortunately, on our money, taxpayers' money, These people paid 3 lakh rupees for delivery in a Lilavati hospital. That is a fact. Well, I don't think so anyone in Solapur would charge more than 30, maximum figure 30,000 rupees for a normal delivery. That is the dichotomy. But people taking advantage of 30,000 rupees can't voice their opinion. They don't make laws. People paying 3 lakh rupees make laws. The another dichotomy this for-profit versus doctor-owned enterprises has created is that we are governed as by professional ethics. The erstwhile Medical Council of India and now National Medical Commission, everybody of us is governed. If I run a nursing home, I am governed by the code of ethics of NCI. I can't advertise, say. But a corporate hospital, which is registered as a for-profit organization, is governed by business ethics. So it can advertise. Their motto is to earn money. They can give what we called as professional fees or cut practice, because that is for their professional development. A tire company gives money to its dealers, don't they give? So on one side also, this we are at a loss. There is no level playing field. Individual doctors running nursing homes or doing practice are at a loss vis-a-vis these big giants who are registered as for-profit, because they are governed by business ethics. So this entire vibrant private health sector, which is carrying more than 80% of the burden, is now under stress. And we are dying. Small hospitals are dying. Ultimately, patient is going to suffer. Today is such a situation that if a patient walks in Milind Bhai's OPD, he thinks twice. ये मेरे को पीटेगा क्या या मेरे ऊपर केस डालेगा क्या? A shift in subconscious mind of doctors is happening. This fear is not good. If we see a mob, we shun the patient. If we see that the patient is asking hundreds of unnecessary questions, we say, boss, घर पे जाओ. वो डॉक्टर बहुत अच्छा है, मैं गांव को जा रहा हूँ. That is creating problems for patients. That is why we said we are on deathbed. Our own IMA study said that in last 10 years, 800 small hospitals closed in Kerala. And if you'll see around us, our entire freshly passed out postgraduates, nobody wants to start a nursing home. They all want to join some hospital or other. Not good scenario. 80% primary and secondary healthcare delivered, affordable, accessible by this vibrant doctor-owned hospital sector. Violence. What is happening in this yuga of Mahabharata? Every day we are facing this Mahabharata everywhere. I mean, those days of demigods are gone. We have to beg that treat us like basic human beings, like you treat any, don't give us any special status. We don't want it. It's self-explanatory. And this is not an Indian scenario, limited to Indian phenomenon. I've been working on the international stage. You will see all the countries are facing this phenomenon. Assault on doctors. The assault is not only bodily assault. That is why I have substituted the word violence with assaults. Assaults can be verbal assaults. They can be on social media. They can be on your image. The government is doing assaults by creating various regulations. The media is creating assaults on the medical practice by putting forth a different kind of picture of the entire medical fraternity. All these assaults are affecting us. They are affecting the medical practice. And who are the perpetrators? As I said, it can be individual, it can be mobs, media, government, politicians, and a new breed is coming, blackmailers. Don't underestimate these last things. There have been lots of incidences where gangs team up together, catch hold of a patient कि तुम्हारा 1 लाख का बिल हम 40,000 में कर देते हैं, तुम हमको 20,000 रुपए दो. It is happening, friends. It is happening. Don't brush it under the carpet. These are the various etiological factors. We all know it. It is other than the grief reaction, which is usually we are told that उनका पेशेंट सगा मारा है तो वो गुस्सा हो गए इसलिए पीट डाला. चलता नहीं ना ऐसे भाई. गाड़ी का एक्सीडेंट हो गया, तुम एसटी के ड्राइवर को पीटेंगे थोड़ी ना. Of course, I am not saying that things don't happen on our side also, which we will coming to the other later on. Systemic failure also we doctors have to face the brunt, especially in the government sector. This is lack of reliable quick redressal system. Today, everybody, we say it is a jet age, instant age. 2 minutes में लोगों को justice चाहिए. Because they don't now believe in the redressal or the justice system. They try to take law in their own hand. And the overall decrease in the tolerance level of the society. Again, we are also important part of society. So this growing intolerance reflects on our profession also. And this affects our personal health, financial health, mental health, family health, social health, spiritual health. All the assaults are bad. So we are into then, as I said, into the defensive mode. We shunt patients. We all know in Kerala, case of head injury was made to roam around the Trivandrum city for 2 hours because there was a lot of mob. He was a sort of semi-VIP patient. Every hospital refused him treatment and he died in ambulance. Imagine in a better age, say 20, 30 years back, nobody would have even thought of it. कि नहीं पहले patient को बचाओ कुछ भी करके. Here तो when we give CPR in the casualty, they say तुमने हमारे patient को मारा है छाती दबा के. Rising cost. All this defensive medicine costs the patient. If I ask him to do 10 investigation, ultimately all that goes on the burden of patient. Solutions. Basic solution is good doctor-patient relationship. Health education. We all need to, Monica, we all need to sensitize the community that there is a difference between medical negligence, medical accidents, side effects. I do a complication, it is an accident. This is a known side effect. It is not a medical negligence. Maybe leaving a mop is a medical negligence. Operating on the wrong side is medical negligence. But a recanalization after tubectomy is known in 2% of cases. That can't be labeled as a medical negligence. This health education, we doctors need to educate the society to avoid all these measures on an organizational level we are trying to do. Somehow, again, information explosion has created this huge myth that today science has grown so much that we can revive the deadest of dead person. Or one case of a newborn baby of say 4 months has been made to survive. So why our newborn of 6 months you could not survive? All these things do create a myth and that causes a lot of misinformation. So the age-old wisdom that we heal, but he cures. That is very important. we are of course demanding a very strong central law. And let me assure this August gathering that 23 states, because of efforts of those state Indian medical associations, have been able to manage to have their state laws. And now at the national level, we are pursuing very, very strongly with the union government. And we are hoping that there will be a very strong law, which now, because of efforts of Indian Medical Association, was included in the Pandemic Act. But once the pandemic is over, our demand is that it should be even in the routine that is endemic time also. And hopefully we will have a good solution to it in coming months. Mixopathy, especially last 5 years, persons claiming to be specialists or claiming to be modern medicine doctors. Just a surgical example, I being a surgeon, normally 70 lakh people suffer due to complications of surgery, including 10 lakh people die due to complications of surgery, more than HIV and AIDS. Imagine what will happen if mixopathy is allowed. Insurance-based model. This is the buzzword that everybody thinks that this is the golden bullet and it will cure all the ills which are plagued with the healthcare system of this country. Try to understand, it is a failed model worldwide. Everybody has heard of Obamacare and that it has failed. Let us take the example of United States of India, United States of America, where government spends 17%, highest in the world, of its GDP. And if you will, why? Because they pay, it is a insurance-based healthcare delivery model. Everybody is insured and the insurance company pays. Very nice, it looks very good. But again, try to understand, these private insurance companies are profit-making insurance committee. They are not bothered about the consumer, that is the patient, neither the service provider, that is the healthcare establishment. Their motto, they are only answerable to their shareholders, that how much dividend, how much profit you are earning and how much you are giving it as a dividend. So failure is inbuilt in this mechanism. The doctor-patient relationship is gone on a toss. Because if a insured patient comes to me, I can't take a decision whether to admit him, whether to operate him. The insurance company is taking decision on his behalf and on my behalf also. So the doctor and the patient both are at loss. The average profitability for insurance companies is 28 to 32%. Imagine. So if government is paying 1 rupee to the insurance company, around 30 paisa is going to the insurance company. A great travesty of justice. Imagine in this so-called PMJY, VN Medical College is included. Government pays the insurance company pays the government medical college patients. I mean, even a child will understand. If the government wants to give money directly to VN Medical College. Create more infrastructure there. That is why we say spend more money on health, and that too on creating government health infrastructure. So insurance-based models are basically faulty. They are flawed. And as I was telling, example of USA, in spite of being the highest spender on health, their health indices are between 10 to 12 ranked in the world. They are not commiserating with the spending on health. You understand this? They spend 17%, but if you'll see the health indices, the MMR, the IMR, the life expectancy is, their ranking is between 10 to 12. The highest ranking countries are the Scandinavian countries and European countries, because it is government funded healthcare, not an insurance based model. So many problems are there, empanelment, costing, without costing rates. We all saw that under this PMJY, they expected that in 12,000 rupees. They expected that cesarean section has to be performed with the drugs, with the medicine, with the anesthetist and food for patient and their relatives. So many issues are there. And this, as I said, doctor, there are few comments on insurance-based model. We at IMA, because this I started working in IMA in Hospital Board of India. So this one particular insurance is our core model, core strength of us. Augmented intelligence. I learned last night there was a lecture on this. Not artificial, it is no more, never call it as artificial intelligence. It is augmenting, it is supporting, it is enhancing our own intelligence. It's come in a big way, friends, last 10 years. Though in India, we are very slow to adapt to change, adapt new technologies, especially our doctor community. But all these technologies and daily some new things come up. Maybe from cloud computing to data mining, to blockchain, what is used in cryptocurrency, to robotic surgery. This is changing the face of how we practice. The process has already started. Whether it will replace doctors, no. Whether it is helping doctors, yes. This distinction one has to understand. No need to fear of any new technology. Technology per se is never bad. You give a knife in the hands of a surgeon, he will use it to cure a person. You give it in the hands of a murderer, he will use it to kill a person. Technology per se can't do anything without human support. And rapid advances. We see only telemedicine, telehealth or mobile health or EHRs, electronic health records. That is just most primitive technologies. This data management has created wonderful, all the IBM, Watson, everybody is into it now. So many, this machine learning, deep learning, they have created such beautiful models of diagnosis. But as I said, it will never replace the doctors. See, ophthalmologist, we are going, he first does what you say, a machine, you're an ophthalmologist. What do you call? Upon number card, auto refraction. But the ophthalmologist never relies entirely on the auto refraction. He gets a fair idea and then he does the finer adjustments by a manual refraction. Same thing, there are machines which IBM has developed for diagnosis. All the EHR has become extremely common there, electronic health records. So all the data is there. They see the data that this patient has come from Gangapur. What are it goes back into history, finds out what kind of diseases are prevalent, what is the age group, what kind of diseases are prevalent. Then it suggests us 2-3 diagnoses. Does this mean that I will not take a history? Whether I will not physically examine a patient? No. It is just giving me suggestions. But this is the future, friends. Use of augmented intelligence is the future, like in any other fields. If you'll see big factories in European countries, robots are fast replacing. 1980, Amazon had only 0 robot. In 2013, they had 23,000 robots working for them. If we not change with the times, then we will fall back. That was the gist of what I told you. Why say Kali Yuga aayega? There will be no pure modern medicine doctor after 2030. Mark my words, I repeat it twice. There will be no modern medicine doctor after 2030 in India. There will be no pure modern medicine doctor in India after 2030. The existing National Medical Commission, Section 30 and 31, and the to be implemented new education policy, Section 50 and 51, they are going to kill pure modern medicine. It is going to be an integrated medicine of all the systems prevalent in India along with modern medicine. This is a stark reality. And you and me are going to be, when we grow old, we are going to be get treated by such hybrid doctors. Hybrid looks good, but we all know it is not nutritious. We all now, everybody goes for the Deshi one. Unfortunately, our government in its own wisdom thinks that whatever old is gold. Not true. If it is gold, then make it pure. If you feel that this modern medicine is evil, it is an iron, don't mix it with that gold. Let gold be gold. Let iron be iron. Iron has its own uses. Gold has its own uses. You can't make a hammer out of gold. Similarly, you can't treat emergencies with the golden traditional Indian medicine. For that, we need a hammer. For that, we need iron. This mixopathy business, day to day, is growing and growing. And is going to kill us. Kill the modern medicine profession. That is the greatest danger which we are going to face. Surplus doctors. Gone are the days. Try to understand what I am saying. That India has a poor doctor-patient ratio. That is why we are promoting mixopathy. Sorry. Your own government, Minister of State for Health, Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar, in the winter session of Parliament in 2021, on record, in a written reply has stated that India has surplus doctors more than the established WHO ratio for population per doctor. Stated own government reply. 6 states, it is 500. Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and 3 other small states. More surplus doctors. What is the problem is a mismatch between urban areas and rural areas. Mismatch in certain states having less doctors and certain states having more doctors. But is it our problem? No. It is a problem basically of bad governance. May it be the local authority, the state government, or the union government. Where the ratio is bad, it is in the so-called Bimaru states. The Bimaru, Bihar, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh. They are officially called as Bimaru states. No, this is not my word. It is Government of India's word. That is an acronym for these states. Because their governance is bad, their educational status indicators are bad, their health indicators are bad, their law and order indicators are bad, their development goal indicators are bad. Since ages. That is why this term was coined. And there the doctor-patient ratio is bad. And the urban and the rural mismatch is again due to bad governance. Why bad governance? You are not giving permanent jobs to our freshly passed MBBS graduates. You are giving contract basis 25,000 rupees, 11-month order. Who is going to go? Out of that 11 month, 1 month has to be paid to DHO, 1 month salary has to be paid to the deputy director. Who will join? There is electricity only for 8 hours. The PHC building is dilapidated. In rural hospital, you are posting a surgeon, you are not posting an anesthetist. He has no political connection, so poor man goes to some more remote area. You are posting a gynecologist, not posting a pediatrician there. How things are going to, that is what we call as bad governance. While if you advertise a post in Kerala of 20 doctors, you will get 2,000 government doctor applications. That is the reality. Our Kerala unit has made an employment guidance bureau for doctors. So much doctors are there. They are ready to supply doctors to all the state governments in the entire country. Our own Kerala IMA unit. Kali Yuga, there is going to be more doctors. If you will see, yesterday only someone was telling me, in I think Aurangabad or in Solapur only, that in last 10 years, some 70 new, or some last 2 years, 70 new hospitals have come. The government policy of having medical colleges per every district without bothering for the quality of medical education. This is not a crocodile tears of existing doctors. That you are creating more than demand, supply is more than demand. The doctors, the practitioners' status will be like what unfortunately is of pharmacy colleges, engineering colleges, polytechnics or management colleges. Same thing is going to happen in the Kali Yuga of medical practice. Where around 10,000, 8,000 rupees, you will get doctors. Or doctors who are trying to do practice for survival will indulge in malpractice. Even if I get 1 patient or 10 patients, if my expense is of 1 lakh, I will have to extract those 1 lakh even if 10 patients come or even if 2 patients come. That creates unethical practice, more bad name, more violence. These all are interrelated issues. More cost to the patient. More the patient gets angry. More headlines, doctors are lutaru, hospitals pretacha टाळूवरचं लोणी खातात. So surplus doctors. As I said, blind aping. Our bureaucrats and ministers are very much fancy. कि American model of governance. वहां ऐसा पार्क बन गया, वहां की हेल्थ सिस्टम ऐसी है, वहां एक लाइन निकालो, वहां से पेशेंट निकल के ऐसे करके बाहर आता है. Why don't you say now we are having so much talent? Why don't you create? And unfortunately, not to blame anyone, on one side, they want to copy the Western models, but they want to insist on the Indian ancient traditions also. Now, how this is creating contradiction in itself. All these rules are a malady because of it. And as I said, over regulations. Really, it is killing doctors. Whether we are meant to do clinical work or we are meant to do clerical work. Okay for big hospitals where there are HR managers and the entire hospital administrators who try to solve this. But in doctor-owned enterprises, it is not possible, physically not possible. And that is why we all took admissions first year, the dean used to come. Now you are going to be cream of society. And today they officially call us criminals of society. What are the headlines? Are we only responsible for it? Yes, we also introspect. It does not mean that everything is wrong on somebody else's part. We need to introspect also. They said Kali Yuga mein more and more legalities, which has already started. I mean, we are in a transition phase of Kali Yuga. This decade 2020 to 2030 is a changeover period. Deteriorating doctor-patient relationship, consumerism is on rise. That is in all fields, where material things are carrying more weight. As I said, business versus practice, the communication gap leading to misinformation, mistrust, again worsening doctor-patient relationship. The trends are ever changing because of all these external factors. We are dealing up till now with external factors. The needs change, unpredictability, high expectations because again of misinformation. Government apathy is there. क्या डॉक्टर्स को क्या कमी है? स्टँडर्ड हॉस्पिटलला काय कमी पडते? But what is the future? How we can address this? How we can stop this downslide towards Kali Yuga? As the famous William Mayo of Mayo Clinic said, the glory of medicine that it is constantly moving forward. That there is always more to learn, and I would add unlearn. The ills of today do not cloud the horizon of tomorrow, but it acts as a spur for greater effort to change. On a governmental level, government should take a holistic approach. As I said, everything is interrelated. You can't apply band-aids here and there and then expect that the entire system will. And that is what exactly is happening today. Ukraine students came back. Everybody started talking, take them back. But first immediate step is humanitarian, which the government is doing, bringing them back. Then discuss with all stakeholders, and then at a much later stage, decide about why they are going, what ails the medical education system of today. That whether this blatant privatization which I mentioned, creating doctors who need to invest crores of rupees to become doctors, and then it is futile to expect by the government or by the society to follow them Hippocratic or Charakot. When we say that we paid meager amount studying in government medical college, we are morally bound to serve or to follow the Hippocratic or Charakot. That is ethical practice. But don't expect whose investment he has to earn out of that investment. If I have spent 3 crore rupees in any business, my target is that in another 2 years, I need to recover that investment. That is why I used the word blatant privatization. Right to health. Today, unfortunately, India does not have a very clearly spelled out right to health. It is under the subheading to right to life, which includes so many things. Right to health needs to be enshrined as a basic right in our constitution. Just like right to education was enshrined, say, 10 years back. Much before than that, right to health. Then it becomes government's responsibility. Increase spending on health. Again, to address this mismatch, incentives for doctors going in difficult areas, or what this government has identified officially as aspirational districts. 150 districts out of 600 odd districts in our country are identified by union government as underdeveloped. A good name, aspirational districts. They aspire to become. So you have already identified areas. You give incentives in the form of free land, tax cuts to industries to set up there. Why not give it to private health players? If Jyoti wants to start a gynec hospital in that aspirational district, should be given subsidized land, 5 years rebate on income tax, 100% people will go there. Why not they will not go there? This is a very bold statement which of late I have been making. Nationalize all the medical schools of this country. Medical education is different from management, engineering education. Here we deal with human lives. Medical schools create tertiary care hospitals also. That responsibility has to be with government. Related to the first demand, right to health. It is government's bounden duty to see that no patient is deprived of good quality health. For that, we need to nationalize all the medical education in this country, and we need to streamline regulations. Maybe a one window system, phase out all the hierarchic laws. India is a vast country, lot of social, cultural, geographic, economic differences are there. Every 50 years, our language, 50 kilometers, our language changes. So also the conditions change. You can't have one law governing कि एमरी के हॉस्पिटल में आग लग गई कलकत्ता में तो फायर सेफ्टी का दुनिया में भी होना चाहिए कि मेरा हॉस्पिटल 30 years I am running a hospital. Now they want me to create an underwater sump, overhead tank and put all. Not possible. Ambulance should, for ambulance to go all around the hospital, you should have a 10-meter road all around the hospital. How is it possible in a hospital running in the pet area of any town or district? So streamlining of regulations. We need also to understand that quality matters. Quality in health is one thing which will make you survive in the future. Everybody, all living organisms, basic instinct is to survive. What does it mean? I want to live. Everyone. And for that, you will always find a doctor who will satisfy that basic need. That my operation needs to be successful, my disease needs to be rid. There comes the role of quality. How much shosha you do for your hospital, how much ACs you put, they do matter, but they are secondary. Primary is what results you give. That is very important. You now have to balance between your clinical-based medicine and the evidence-based medicine. Lot of focus has come on only on evidence-based medicine. म्हणजे बाप दाखवणे ते श्राद्ध कर. अरे बाबा थांब ना, मी बाप प्रत्यक्षात बघतोय ना, म्हणजे पेशंट बघतोय ना, त्याला नाही काही त्रास, त्याचा गॉलस्टोन आहे. 1 in 10,000. For each one gallstone, there are 10,000 silent gallstone cases. But just because I have bought a laparoscope, I have trained, gone in south and undertook training, I need to recover that investment. So I say कि अच्छा तुमको वो कल रात को खाना खाया था पाव पूरी भाजी, उससे तकलीफ हुई है गॉलस्टोन की वजह से. कल के कल तेरा लैब कोल करना पड़ता है. मेरे को 25,000 मिलना चाहिए मन के मन में. मैंने 5 लाख का सेट लिया है. Avoid. That is ethics. That is ethics. And if you are able to balance it on ethics, you will always be successful. When we talk of ethics, there are a lot of gray areas, friends. Things may be ethical but illegal. Now, of course, it has changed, but abortion after 24 months, 24 weeks, say effect of a rape. We know we need to abort. It may be ethical, but it is illegal by law. It has to be ethical and legal. That is only the safe ground to play. You can't have ifs and buts. बाजू वाला नर्सिंग होम वाला तो खुलेआम करता है SD. मैं क्यों ना करो? No. Ethics is a really cornerstone of doctor-patient relationship. Most of the problems, what I mentioned up till now, from doctor's side, are not imaginary. Somewhere VA as a profession are also at fault. And if we need to first improve, things will settle down. And ethics do form the cornerstone of good doctor-patient relationship. Simple hai. We all saw that Vodafone ad. Ullu mat banao patient. Stay on the right side of truth. It may vary in degree, but always on the right side of truth. You will always be safe. On an individual level, again, I will come back to my first slides. The basic human values. Be a good doctor. Be a doctor for people. Be a family doctor. Be a doctor like Dr. Mulay. Be a social doctor. These are the various qualities of a good social doctor. Humility, compassion, integrity, diligence, sharpening your axe, your competence, how you communicate, how you document. Communication and documentation. And documentation of communication and communication of documentation. To get out of these legalities and various issues, you have to upgrade your scientific knowledge, your legal knowledge, your soft skills, your economic skills, your socio-political skills. The days are gone when you are sitting in an ivory tower. See, I always say we doctors automatically feel that we are God because patient is the needy person. He pays money outside and then he comes into your clinic or chamber, whatever you call. We feel that, kitna main to boss hu. That we need to understand the patient also has rights. This has to be a horizontal relationship. I always say, don't be afraid, don't get irritated when your patient asks you multiple questions. Boss, uske life ka sawal hai. Issue concerns with his life when he is suffering. You are buying some mobile. Don't you see on the net which are the good models? You ask 10 people, 10 of your friends, कि कौन सा मोबाइल अच्छा है, उसका क्या कैमरा कैसा है, उसका स्पीड क्या है, प्रोसेसर क्या है. For an inanimate dead object like a mobile, you inquire so much things. But if I am suffering from illness, I am a living organism. Will I not ask 10 people? Will I not search on net? So why do get irritated? It is the right of patient. Try to go into his shoes and understand that things have changed. The level of education has increased. Literacy rate has grown up. Information is available on fingertips. Some relative or someone is in the medical or paramedical field. They are going to seek information. That is why ullu mat bana. Stay on the right side of truth. Because he is going to cross-check. He is going to reconfirm. You have to give quality healthcare. You have to give results. And this all soft skills are nothing but the art of medicine. How the way you talk, verbal, non-verbal communication. We can go on and go on this. In a nutshell, your documentation, your science, no doubt, has to be very good. Many a times we have experienced कि my gut feeling does not say that ये boss कुछ तो अंदर है. इसका USG भी normal है, plain X-ray standing normal है, CT abdomen normal है, but something is wrong. That gut feeling also helps. And once your gut feeling says कि this is also your gut feeling tells you कि आज मैंने ये patient के साथ अच्छा नहीं किया. Even though I may have earned 50,000 from it, my conscience keeps on pricking me. That is ethics. That is being a good doctor. And that is going to survive you. It is safe. Safe is sexy. No point in doing harakiris. No point. It is profitable also, friends. Because you run in the long run. So always try to be ethical, try to be safe. Don't go in areas where you are not trained to. Don't overdo things. You will still be, everybody all the senior people here know that deaths have occurred, complications have occurred. Why some hospitals, some doctors get beaten up regularly, why others don't get? Because they were good communicators. They used to explain to the patient. Relatives also understand that genuinely this doctor had explained us, they were doing all the efforts. Yes, sometimes accidents do happen, but those are accidents. It can't be routine. On an organizational level, what we need to do, this is what individual level, because now really it is question of our survival. We have to save the doctors to save the patients. We need to stand up and speak up. Strengthen our mother organization, that is the Indian Medical Association. Unity is the key. And no point in only fighting. Yes, IMA last few years have converted from an NGO to a trade union. We are doing trade union like activities. But simultaneously, we have to provide alternative solutions to the government also. As I said, each individual doctor, always say, which is a fact of life. Individual doctor is very strong. Our association is weak. Tell me which doctor is not intelligent? Which doctor does not have political contacts or bureaucratic contacts? Which doctor is not rich? We are intelligent, we have contacts, we have enough money. Then why we are not able to do things? Because our unity is weak. That is what I meant when I say our association is weak. Let us strengthen our association, let us fight back, speak up. Most of the things, answers, solutions lie in our unity, friends. And lastly, I always end all my lectures by Gandhi's quote that the earth provides for everyone's needs, but not for anyone's greed. If we follow this simple principle in our medical practice, I think most of the problems will not be there. Thank you very much. Even though by tradition, by convention, after oration, there are no questions. But maybe after the oration, informally, I'm always answerable to you. Thank you very much. Kindly give me your feedback, either email me or WhatsApp me on this number. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai IMA. I welcome senior past retired IAS officer, Sri Maware sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We are inspired and enlightened by your wonderful oration. I will request President Dr. Milind Shah, sir, to please come on stage. We would like to present the citation to Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
ये जो थी हाँ मुझे बैलेंस
Can I request Tanuvandi to read the oration?
We, the president and the members of the Indian Medical Association Solapur branch, are honored and happy to present the late Dr. B.V.Mulay Oration to Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar, past national president of Indian Medical Association, an exemplary teacher, an astute surgeon, and an efficient administrator. He has contributed immensely to the welfare of medical fraternity and primary education. In appreciation of his excellent and educative talk on medical practice, Kal, Aaj aur Kal, delivered on Sunday, 20th of March, 2022, presented by Dr. Milind Shah, President, Dr. Sanjay Manthare and Dr. Tanvangi Zog, Secretaries, and Dr. Monica Umbardand, Treasurer of IMA Solapur.
In fact, friends, very apt to the title. I'm so lucky today to have everyone, Kal, Aaj aur Kal. Dr. Harish was very much here, the past president. Dr. Gurunath is also very much here. And even Kal or Dr. Kedar is also very much here. So can I request you all to please come and join on the stage? Yeah, I think Harish has left, but you both can join. So very apt to the title. I'm so lucky to have you, all of you. Monica. Yes. येस डॉक्टर चौधरी आता हे ओरेशनचं आपण रेकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप केलं की खूप गप्पा मारायचे आपण सगळेजण बोलणार आहोत सरांशी बिफोर दॅट आय थिंक द स्टेट जॉईंट सेक्रेटरी वॉन्ट टू फेलिसिटेट डॉक्टर रवी वानखेडेकर सो येस संतोष प्लीज कम ज्योती यू ऑल्सो कम या व्हेर इज डॉक्टर संतोष खडतरे आणि तुम्ही या द बेटर हाफ also request the women's wing chairman Dr. Manjusha to please join. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Atlava. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, तुम्ही या ना प्लीज.
डॉक्टरचा बुलंद आवाज आहे. डॉक्टरचं मनातलं जे आहे ते मोठा
Sir, come in first. Come.
Mulay sir, can we end the live telecast of with your permission? I would request Dr. Manthare to propose the vote of thanks, then we will formally end the program.
On the behalf of IMA Solapur, we are very thankful to Dr. Ravi Wankhedekar sir for his opinions. As you said, united we stand, divided we fall. As sir said in his last slide, Gandhi's statements, which says that needs can be fulfilled, but not greed. Sir touched the subject with lion's heart, with an eagle's eye, and very smoothly and genuinely, he says that touch the matter with lady's finger, as he said, to make all medical college nationalization. Sir, once again, from the IMA Solapur, from our bottom of heart, we thank you for a great lecture. And we thank online as well as offline delegates who attended this event. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Recording off.